Hello there, people. I am back. We are doing another Screenrant is Gay. And today, this one is about how. Okay, what is it specifically? 10 harsh realities of being a Buffy fan. Oh, man. I think we'll just get right into it. Sorry for no not screen rant, no pin down yesterday. Tyler had a medical thing come up very last second, so he couldn't stream. But we should be back next Saturday. But yeah, but other than that, I guess we can just get right into it. Their number 10 is Xander's character hasn't aged well. And I've read of this already. The thing with Xander, because the Xander hate is much newer, it's more of a newer phenomenon. And it's two things. A lot of it is because Nicholas Brendan in real life, who plays Xander in the show, is a piece of shit in real life. Like he is. He has drinking problems and drug problems, and he's gotten himself to a lot of shit over the years. So there's that part of it, but I also think the part of it is to Joss has admitted Xander is a stand-in for Joss Whedon, and we all know what happened with Joss Whedon and all that. And it's still, I guess it's still cool to hate Joss Whedon right now. So I think they project a lot of that too onto Xander, because the character of Xander, he's the stand-in for the normal man of the show. He's the only regular guy on the show. Like, if you think about it in terms of the main group. In terms of the main group, like, you have Buffy, who's a slayer. You have Willow, who's a super powerful witch. Even Tara, who comes in, she's another witch. Spike kind of becomes part of the group for a while, and he's a vampire. Even when, Angel was there, he was another vampire. Giles, yeah, he's a regular dude, but he also knows magic. Because you find out later, you see later, he knows how to use magic. So he actually knows how to do stuff. And he's a watcher. And he's a watcher. He knows a lot of tools of the trade. So he's not just like some regular dude. Right? And even when Faith gets involved, that's another Slayer. And a lot of people don't like Xander too because remember, it's cool to be woke now, so they try to say what Xander does is perceived as quote unquote sexist, right? The way I think that's the thing with the show, and I've said it, it's gonna be a theme. Is Buffy works because it's a show about very flawed people. Literally everybody on the show is flawed. Hell, Buffy herself, even though she's the Slayer and she's the chosen one, she's flawed. And that's what makes the show work, is all these characters are flawed. The constant thing that people like to hate on Xander for is another one is, oh, he never let go of his love for Buffy, when that's not even true. Xander only really liked Buffy in one season, and that was the first season. Once we get to season 2, yeah, he has little residual feelings at the start, but eventually, remember, I think people forget in season 2, he gets with Cordelia, and technically Willow in the end. And then season 3, he's still with Cordelia. Eventually, they break up, but then he gets with Anya, who's basically arguably his main love interest for the remainder of the series. Even when they break up after season 6, they get back together in the last bit of season 7. So Anya is Xander's main love of the show. He only really liked Buffy in one season, and I think people try to project the times where Xander's gone off on Buffy is more because he's jealous she's with another man, when that's just not true. He was also very supportive of Buffy's relationship with Riley. I think people forget Xander hates vampires, so he's never gonna truly like Angel or Spike. He just never will. That was always a thing with the show. But at the end of the day, though, Xander's a friend. People forget too, he helped save the world in a season 6. He's the one who brought Willow back down from being evil. I think it's this modern age where, I guess because Xander acts like a normal teenage boy, that therefore he's not mere feminist quote coded or whatever the fuck they say, right? That's why we don't like Xander. I think it's a lot of projection because Xander is clearly, he's flawed, but he is a good kid. I mean, he clearly does care about Buffy. He was with her through thick and thin, you know, like throughout all 7 seasons. And I think he doesn't get a lot of appreciation. I think people, they either project their hate for fucking, for Nicholas Brendan in real life, or they project their Joss Whedon hate because obviously Xander's a stand-in for Joss. So it's like they project their hate for something else onto the character because the character is actually really good. He's a really flawed, really well-written character, and I think the 7-season arc that Xander goes through is well done, and I think his character doesn't get appreciated as he should, I think. Number 10, or 9, sorry, number 9. Sorry for the loud fucking, I was gonna say some brick with the fucking motorcycle. Number 9, Buffy's relationship with Faith could have been explored further. No, it couldn't. This is one I have seen from a couple of weirdos. This is like, reminds me, if you watch Supernatural, this is like the Castiel, or Destiel, I think is it's called, where they put Dean and Castiel together, even though both men are straight. And this is another one of those cases. Buffy likes dudes. She clearly likes dudes. She had a thing with, obviously, Angel and Spike. I mean, let's just talk about that, the obvious one. She dated a regular dude at this, like, I think it was like season 1 or 2. She dates a regular guy. Season 4, the whole Parker thing, Riley gets with Spike. She's been with dudes. Like, throughout the series, Buffy is clearly into men. Like, clearly, like, into men. Same with Faith. Throughout the show, yeah, Faith doesn't really have, like, a long-term relationship till the last episode where she gets with Principal Wood in the last season. But she's into dudes. She flirts with guys. She fucks Xander. I'll just spoil that part. She fucks Xander in season 4. She clearly likes dudes. She was flirting with Angel. The moment Spike sees her the first time, we're not going to talk about the moment where Faith was body swapped with Buffy. I'm talking about like where they first see each other, actually see each other, and that was season 7. They were flirting, clearly. They were flirting a little bit there. And also, like I said, Faith likes dudes. And people can try to, oh, she could be bisexual, even though there's been no point in the show does it seem like Faith's interested in girls. Same with Buffy. And this is this weird modern culture where everybody for some reason has to be fucking gay. I don't know. No problem with gay people, but I'm so done with this narrative that everybody has to be gay. Everybody has to be shipped together. It's this weird concept that, like, Hollywood and these freaks can't accept that there are things called just normal friendships between women and men. They do this with men too. It's like, bro, this reeks of the same shit with, like, Destiel, right? This is like Destiel. Like, we gotta ship them just because we gotta make everything gay, even though Dean and Cass both like women. It's the same thing here. Buffy and Faith like men. There's nothing wrong with that. And we all know how it ends anyway. When people were trying to say there's subtext. There's no subtext. You're reading too into it. That's your headcanon shit. No. Not everybody has to be gay. Like, goddamn. Oh, now I guess we'll get to number 8. There were social issues Buffy didn't handle well. I'm wondering if one of them is going to be they say the F word, because they do say it. Or not the F word, but they say, I think Cordelia calls somebody gay. I think she does in retarded. They have used the word retarded in certain words that are, I guess, progressive now. So, I guess we can go and see what they are. There's that's the one. Of course, they said they missed the mark when it came to race. Because I could already tell they're gonna say there's not a lot of black characters, or the black characters they did have, they didn't do well. Kendra, I'm just gonna say it. Her character kind of sucked. I never cared for Kendra. I always thought she was the weakest part of the show. Of that, I almost borderline sometimes just skip her arc. I almost just skip to when Kendra gets killed. And it's no offense to the character, but the way they wrote the character, I thought the actress they got to play her just was corny. The accent was so bad. I don't know why they just didn't make her like British or something. Because there's a later season, Giles dates like I think she's like another watcher, or it's like a girlfriend from Britain. She's a black chick. Why didn't you just give her an accent like that? Just make her a Brit. Why did we have to give her this fucking really bad African accent? Because it, like, whenever she comes on screen, I would just remember feeling I'm watching a different show. It just feels like the show takes a turn. Like, and also, who cares? I'm a black person who watches Buffy. I don't care that there's not a lot of black characters. Sunnydale's a small town in California. I can accept that there's not going to be a lot of black people in it. And that's fine. This idea, because let's be real, when they say people of color, they're only talking about black people. Because I'm not hearing anything said, where's the Asian characters? Or where's the Latino characters? Or anything like that. It seems like, that's when these motherfuckers say POC, they mean black. They just don't want to say it outright. But that's clearly what they're talking about. Even though there were black characters, Principal Wood, I do think he could have been written a little better, because the actual guy who plays him is actually not a bad actor. I've seen him in other stuff, and he's pretty good. But Principal Wood makes it till the end of the last season. He doesn't get killed off. They could have easily killed him off, but they didn't. He gets with Faith in the end. But also, who cares? Like, this weird race counting that's been a thing for the last, I would say, I don't know, 10 years or longer, where everybody counts like what race or how many women or how many black people or how many insert group here are in a movie or a TV show, even older stuff. I find that shit weird, because Buffy is such a great show. It had 7 seasons. It's been on, basically, it's a almost 30-year-old show. It's about to be 29, I think, this year. And not throughout those 29 years, there are black people who watch the show. Not one of them was thinking, oh, where are all the black characters? Outside the weirdo ones, most black people watch the show and think it's a good show. Same as Supernatural. I watch Supernatural. There's not a lot of black characters in that show. There are some, but not a lot. I wouldn't say there's a little bit more than Buffy, but not as much. And to be honest with you, I don't really care for a lot of black characters in that show. And that's not, it's just because I don't look at things through a racial lens like that. I think that shit is retarded. It's not how you watch TV. You watch TV if it's a good show. I mean, when I watch Friends, I'm not like, where are all the black people? I'll just watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air if I want black characters in something. You know, white people can watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, all these other black shows that are mainly black characters, and they're not like, where's the white people? So I think black people could do the same thing. Why does Buffy need to have a bunch of black characters, especially... It makes this... What? Well, this is a part due to the television landscape in the 90s. That's not why, but anyway. It makes the series harder to watch today. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, man, I was going to say something. I'm going to hold back. I don't want to give this video and my channel hit, but... How the fuck is the show harder to watch today? I'm rewatching Buffy now. I'm on the last season. I'm taking a little bit of time to watch it, but I'm on the last season. Buffy is still great. There are some bad episodes in there, here and there, but just more because of the writing, not because, oh, there's not a black character, or they didn't make Buffy and Faith gay. Which, I love how this article, they didn't even write. They said Buffy and Faith could go further, but they clearly want them to be gay. They just didn't say it, but that was what I got from that. They clearly wanted them to be gay. Like, many people watch Buffy, still watch Buffy and rewatch it all the time. Many people who are black or different colors, and they're not thinking, I bet you there's Asian Buffy fans. How many Asian characters were in Buffy? Nah, probably not a lot outside the fucking the potential in the last season, and even then she wasn't really a character. She was just there to say Asian language, right? Like it that was it. But most Asian fans, if there are some, they'll just watch the show to watch the show. They're not watching it and be like, where's the Asian characters? Okay, additionally, Buffy sometimes overreached in preaching behavior and expectations to young audience. Like in this Beer Bad, that's not a good episode, like on paper, but I have fun with it. I know it's often regarded as the worst Buffy episode. On a technical aspect, yes, it is. It's a bad episode because it doesn't really set up anything. There's no big bad setup in it. I think it harps too much on the. One of my. I'll just say this. One of my big issues with season 4, at least at the start, I did not care for the whole Parker thing. I almost skip over that whole arc sometimes and just get to Beer Bad, and that's when they wrap up that arc. But yeah, outside of that, I don't necessarily see it as preachy, and it's not the only show that did that. That's just how it was at the time. Like, there are some times, that's fine. Like, that's just how it was in the 90s and 80s and 90s. You had those kind of episodes that are clearly like drug bad. I mean, I think they even had it a little bit later when when Willow gets addicted to magic. That's clearly a stand-in for drug addiction. I mean, she goes to a guy named Rack to get magic. I mean, come on, dude, that's drugs. And I would argue that was far more preachy than Beer Bad, because most shows just in general are gonna have don't drink. That's just how it was at the time. And there are plenty of missed opportunities for better representation. Shut the fuck up. You had a lesbian character. You had a strong female character. But because I guess they're not, people of color, or more gay characters, even though you already had a bunch of, I mean, Tara, she was gay. She's lesbian, like a whole lesbian, not like bi, which they try to make, Willow. And people like her character. Like, what are we talking about? Better representation? Like, shut up. This is why people just are done with these type of people in these communities, because they just don't they don't watch anything just to be entertained. They watch it they want their politics and shit. And I think that shit's weird. It's weird. It's worse when they want to put it in shit that's already like come out and that's old. They can't watch that old thing in the context of the time. Let's be real. If these motherfuckers watched a lot of 50s movies, I'm just gonna say it, there's some of those movies that have casual sex, and that just was the time. But they would fucking have a bitch fit and would be able to watch these movies because they're not progressive. I can't stand these people. Like, just watch the show as a show. I'm gonna skip number 7 because it's the filler episodes. There's some are easy to skip. I don't fully disagree with that. Yeah, so I'm gonna skip that one. I'll skip number 5 too, because this one is more about lore and stuff, and this one I kind of agree to. Alright, yeah. Number 5. The early special effects aren't very good. Well, yeah, the show didn't have a big budget yet, and I'm gonna keep it real. Even when Buffy did get more money, especially in the later seasons, some of the effects were still wonky, but that's what makes it good. I don't necessarily like that you have to bring that. That's such a random reason to bring up. Like, oh, the effects are dated. Well, of course. It's a show that came out in 1997 that probably the first couple seasons didn't really have a budget. But I would argue some of it looked good. Like, I think there are some good practical. Like, as much as I didn't like Adam as a villain, I will say the practical effects for him looked pretty good. The Master, his practical effects largely looked pretty good in Buffy season 1. So there's some good special effects. Yeah, obviously some of the magic effects are gonna look wonky and certain things, but I do feel like almost though that's the thing with these people, is because he's looking at it through a modern lens in this aspect too. Like, they don't understand that sometimes the charm of these shows is the wonky special effects. Hell, people love Xena and that He-Man show from the 90s. Or not He-Man, Hercules, sorry. Not He-Man. Hercules show. You know, with Kevin Sorbo. A lot of people love those shows. The special effects are very dated in those shows, but people still love it. Hell, even a more later show like Smallville, still some really wonky CGI. A lot of people love that show. Hell, Supernatural, which is like a little bit later and right even into the 2020s. Some of that show had really wonky special effects, and that was in 2005, in the later 2000s. Even like the later seasons, which were in like the 20 teens, still looked wonky with some of the special effects. At the end of the day, that's just how some TV shows are. They don't have giant budgets for crazy special effects like films do. And this was at a time too before like prestige TV as we got now, like, you know, like stuff like Game of Thrones and Andor, all these shows that are basically movies. Those didn't exist really yet, especially at the time of Buffy. Most TV shows were like just kind of serial cable. It wasn't like, they weren't like on streaming. I actually agree with their number 4, that season 7 was rushed and the finale was rushed. I actually agree with that. It's the one thing I'll give you, Screen Rant. You actually said something I agree with. I do think season 7 was rushed. It wasn't a good season. I think it's watchable. I think that's why it's taken me a little longer to watch season 7, just because it's the worst season to me. I think 6 has issues, but it's still really watchable. I think especially those last couple episodes are really good. Whereas I think Buffy season 7 is just, I don't care. I don't care to watch the potentials. I just don't care, and I think they get far more annoying once you get to the later part of season 7, and everything was rushed. But I will agree there with Screen Rant. I guess let's go to another different one so I don't end up keep agreeing with Screen Rant. I don't want to keep agreeing. Number 3. It's hard to watch Buffy keep making bad romantic choices, and I'm just gonna combine that with the number 2. All of our favorite characters do terrible things. That's the thing about this show, Screen Rant. I said it earlier. All these characters in the show are flawed. Willow makes bad choices. Tara even makes bad choices. Spike definitely made bad choices. He's a fucking villain. He started off as a villain. Angel, in the Angel series, made bad choices at times. And like, of course, Buffy. You know? Like, they're saying it's tough to watch the same mistake. I mean, it just, unfortunately, it just happens. And also, this is a TV show, so there's gonna be drama like that. That's just how TV works. You're gonna have relationship drama. That's almost in every show. You know? Like, especially at this time. And now going to all of our favorite characters do terrible things, when that's just, like, it's so stupid, because every character is flawed. Every character has made bad choices, but they come back from them. You know, because they're saying there's borderline irredeemable thing. I'm trying to see if you name one. Oh, they mentioned Willow. Like, that's the point. Willow was in a bad place, and that's why. It's not like Willow was easily forgiven. She had to atone for a bit. And I mean, hell, Spike had to get a soul. I mean, and then Angel. Oh, I know they're mentioning Angel here. I thought they were talking about Spike. But, like, at the end of the day, the whole point of the show is they're all flawed. And the fucking Screenrant ends up saying it anyway. However, their moral complications are what set Buffy apart from... Yes, that's what made it interesting, was that most characters are all flawed. Even Giles. You know, the episode when Buffy turned 18, this was in season 3, when he injected her with that thing that took her powers away, because he was forced by the by his bosses. Like, I mean, that's just what happens, you know. Angel made mistakes, Buffy made mistakes, hell, Xander made mistakes, and just with what he did with Anya, the Cordelia stuff, Cordelia made mistakes. That is what makes Buffy great, is all these characters are flawed in some fucking way. But I don't understand, like, yeah, I don't understand, like, why this is actually a criticism that all our characters are too flawed. That's basically what you're saying. All our characters are too flawed. So you want to watch a show where they're just all perfect and squeaky clean and just don't make any mistakes, and just, that would be a boring fucking TV show. That's what makes I mean, hell, Supernatural, I feel like has the same thing too, where almost every character's flawed in some way. Dean and Sam have both done bad things. Same with Cass. Same with even Bobby. Same with fucking, obviously, fucking Crowley. I said Crowler. Crowley, right? Obviously, Castiel's even done some questionable stuff in the show. But that's why I like that show too. I like that these characters are flawed. Like, they're not... they're all flawed characters. That's just what I don't understand, like, why that's seen as a bad thing to be flawed in a TV show. I don't understand, like, where that's a bad thing. And they said number one, everyone's too hard on Buffy. I think sometimes there, but once again, it goes back to all our characters are flawed. And of course, sometimes they're going to be hard on her because she's the fucking, the Slayer. So sometimes everything falls on her shoulders to save the world, and, also have to balance dealing with her life. And that's what makes the show unique. But getting mad and saying stuff like, all our characters don't do bad things. Yes, they all make mistakes. Like Giles, when the council ordered him to take Buffy's powers when she turned 18. That was a questionable thing Giles did. Like, all our characters do questionable stuff, but that's what makes it work. And that's why this show is such a long-standing show, because at the end of the day, everybody makes mistakes. They're not all just perfect Mary Sue or Gary Stu characters where just everything goes well for them. They're not flawed. Because, yeah, that's my thing. It's like they want Buffy to just be a Mary Sue. Let's be honest here. If they made Buffy now, she would be a Mary Sue. And not just her, everybody. Everybody would be squeaky clean. There would be no flawed characters, and it would just be fucking boring. Because that's clearly what whoever wrote this article wants. For them to just be all squeaky clean characters. The whole point of the show was that everybody's flawed, and I think that's what makes the show unique. Saying you want more with Faith and Buffy when there was never a thing there. Were they friendly, but they were never... I never got a hit. Buffy's not gay. She's never had a thing for women. That has never come up. She's always liked dudes. Same with Faith. She gets with a dude to end the show. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like Dean and Cass. You don't have to make Dean and Cass gay to like them. Neither expressed any interest in each other. This reminds me that I guess this is Buffy's Destiel. Because it's not only in this article, I have seen this around, that people wanted more with Buffy and Faith, when it's like, you already had a gay character with Willow, because this was at that point. Well, they hadn't fully explored Willow being bi yet, because that more comes in season 4. But it's like, if you waited a season, they start exploring that stuff with Willow. So why not? Why does, like, you have to make Buffy gay? Like, it just feels like you just want... It's not representation, it's just forced. You want to make everybody gay. God forbid women are friends. And then obviously we saw how Faith ends for a while, so it would have been bad to do that anyway. And this idea women can't be friends or men can't just be friends without it being more is just stupid. It's this weird modern culture now where, yeah, nobody can just be friends anymore. Everything has to be gay. There has to be some secret subtext. The fact that this article tried to say there was no, there wasn't. Not one moment did either of them express any interest in women. No. And that's fine. Or complaining that there's not enough black characters. Who cares, dude? Buffy has probably a big black fan base because the show has a big fan base in general. So there's definitely a section of black people who watch the show, and not one of them is like, at least anyone who's normal, isn't like, where are all the black characters? No, we just watch the show as is. Most people watch shows as is. There are a lot of black people who watch Vikings, and that's a majority white show. No one gave a shit. No one gave a shit about Friends. There are black people who watch Friends. And not one of us like, where are the black characters? No, we just watch it as is. If something's all white, that's just as is, you know? Or if it's a show about, like, mainly Hispanics or Asians, they're going to probably be mainly the focus. I'm not going to watch, like, a movie set in China or even just a Jet Li movie, which majority of the time, you watch a Jet Li movie, unless it's, like, maybe in America, it is probably going to be a majority Asian cast. That's just how it is. And that's fine with me. So why can't I watch martial arts movies or all these other movies where there's one demographic mainly, but whatever reason they feel like black people can't handle a show where it's mainly white characters? No one cares. Outside of the weirdo ones that just want to harp about race and count how many black people are and stuff. Right. I just think that shit's weird. Like, count how many, like, certain people, quote-unquote, color are in something. Like, no, just watch the show as is. And I'm sorry, some of the black characters on, I mean, you had Woods, Principal Wood, and he lasted the entirety of season 7. He didn't die. They could have easily killed him off. They probably could have. If they really wanted to, he could have been one of the characters they probably would have got away with killing in the finale, and it wouldn't have been anything. If they really wanted to. But they didn't. He just got a little injured. But then, yeah, he gets with Faith in the end. So it's like a black character made it to the last season of the show, and he's part of the finale. What's the problem? Why are we complaining? I'm sorry, Kendra just wasn't good. And it's not her fault. I think it was the writing. I think, whatever reason, they had to give her this stupid accent when they should have just made her like a British chick. Or even, I would have been fine even if you had her be a black American woman. But why did you have to make her like African or whatever the fuck her accent was? Because whenever she appeared in season 2, I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched it, I'm like, am I watching a different show? What is this accent? Why? Like, I don't know if, like, you had the woman that got with Giles was a black British chick. I would have been fine if you just made her British. Or really, don't give her an accent at all. Because the accent was bad. Like, that's why I was cool with killing her off, and I didn't have as much emotion and investment because her character was just not written well. They gave her ridiculous accent. Like, it was... But, you know, like, at the end of the day, though, I'm not, like, complaining that there's not that many black characters. At the end of the day, that's fine. I can watch stuff without, like, a billion black characters all the time. I don't understand why... Yeah, I don't understand why, like, Hollywood's like that. Well, it's not even Hollywood, it's these weirdos that just need to, like, count how many black people or how many women or how many gay people are in something, and I just think that shit's weird, man. I just think, like, this idea that you gotta have that sector of people in every little thing is dumb, like, you know? And, like, I'm gonna go back to really quick before I wrap this up, because I am kind of going on a little long, but, like, yeah, like, the fact that one of their issues was that they consider a harsh reality is that none of our favorite characters do bad things. It's like, Yes, that's just how some shows are. I mean, X-Files is not all like that. I think mostly it's a bit more straightforward, but I will say there is moments where some of our favorite characters in that do quote unquote questionable things. At the end of the day, I like when characters are flawed. I like when majority of our favorites or in characters in this show all have flaws. Like I said, I named all of them. Xander had flaws, Willow, Buffy, Spike, Angel, Wesley in Angel, even fucking yeah, even Cordelia in Angel still made mistakes. Like there's nothing wrong with any of our characters making mistakes. I don't understand like this idea that all our characters need to all be squeaky clean. That's what makes the show boring. Even Gunn in the Angel series, because I think Angel, Buffy, because they're basically connected, and I feel like Angel also did this. Every character was flawed. Even Gunn was flawed. Gunn did bad things. Like, I don't know, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with characters doing questionable things that unfortunately lead up to mistakes. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes these characters, even like the vampires like Angel and Spike, that's what makes them human. Humans are flawed. People are flawed in real life. So you're telling me that wouldn't carry over in a television show? You know, I don't understand. I, I I don't really get it. Like this idea, you just want squeaky clean characters and everybody to just be squeaky clean. I just think it's weird. I Hell, Fred and Angel, she made mistakes. And people like to say, oh, she was super squeaky clean in the show. No, she made mistakes. She was flawed. Like, literally, everybody in the Buffyverse, or Buffy or Angel, are flawed, and that's what makes the show great. And weirdos who just can't watch a show for what it is, who either need to have their weird ships confirmed or just have to expect every character to be a fucking angel. No pun intended. So, but other than that, guys, that's all I have to really say. Screenrant is gay. So yes, like I said, the series is back, but I'm probably gonna only do it like once or twice a month, maybe 3 times if I can find if something happens and I find like a dumb article, then maybe I'll do another one. But probably for this month it's done, I would say. And then, but yeah, it's gonna be once or twice a month now. I will try to do a Screenrant is gay, but yeah. But yeah, guys, my next video will probably be a review. I just got to figure out what I'm gonna see whenever Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, or the mortuary system, whichever first goes on the seas. I'll probably review that next. But other than that, guys, we'll see what's going on. I'll see how Mr. T's feeling, but we might still do a Raw stream tomorrow. It could just be me and Cream. We'll see. But other than that, guys, look out for Subscribe to Pin Down. And not this weekend, but I'm thinking next weekend or maybe the weekend after, we should be back for Cowman reviews. We'll probably have a new name, but we will be back for that, and we will be reviewing the first Pirates of the Caribbean. So, other than that, guys, I will talk to y'all later. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later.